debt service coverage ratio. Here's a term that I wish more people understood. It's a measure or a ratio of how much money you have to actually pay debt service. Your goal is anything higher than 1, first of all. And most Californians don't have that. This is what I simply mean. So here's one of the first numbers I'm going to give you. When you have rent that comes in, what expenses do you have?
Management.
What?
Man
Other than the mortgage, what?
Management.
Management. Insurance. You got that right. What else?
Vacancy cost.
Yeah, taxes. What else?
Vacancy.
What? Repairs. I'm going to call that maintenance. What else?
Water bill.
Okay. If you're doing it correctly, who should be paying the utilities?
Tenants.
Correct. But for the sake of this discussion, I am going to put utilities there because in a multifamily situation, that depending on the type of building, you may have some common area, and for a time you may have some of that utility expense. But in general, you want someone else paying for that. What else?
Vacancy.
Vacancy cost.
Yes. The two most expensive are vacancy and maintenance. That's where most people end up messing up on the management side, is vacancy and maintenance. But again, if you have the only one that looks so new and has washer and dryer, you've pretty much eliminated this one. But hold on, if I just did all that rehab, didn't I just eliminate that one too?
That's true.
2 problems, 1 stone. Understand that. What else? Is there anything else missing that anyone can think of? This is pretty much it. We're going to lump all these into one number, and I'm just going to call those expenses. Okay? Because you've got rent, which is also known as income. So rent, let's look positive. These are all minus signs. And what's left over is what we're going to call net operating income. That's the money you have left to do 2 things. Because we haven't paid our mortgage, and we haven't paid who? You, yourself. Right. This number is very important. You manage this number like nobody's business. So rent minus expenses, income minus expenses is going to give you the net operating income. Okay? And then what you're going to look at is that debt service. DS, also known as mortgage payment. And what's left is cash after debt service. This is what you get to, that's your paycheck. That's what you get to take home. That's what you get to go spend. That's what you get to go have fun with at Disneyland or wherever you want to go. Don't really care. That's what's left. Your debt service coverage ratio is simply NOI over debt service. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, if my NOI for the entire year, for 12 months, is $10,000, but my debt service is $15,000 for the entire year, what is that ratio?
Bad.
It's not good. It's 0.66 and some change. What does that mean? That means I gotta kick in money just to keep the property. $5 grand a year. That's what you don't want. This is the typical California situation. That's what I don't like about California. Is what tends to happen is that we end up with a net operating income that's smaller than our debt service. And that's one of the reasons why I've chosen to go a lot out of state. Because the only other way to get this lower is to put more money down so that you have smaller debt service. I just think that's an inefficient use of capital, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But let's do it this way. If your debt service, or NOI, is $30,000, and you still have $15,000 a year of debt service, what is that? 2 to 1. That's a debt service coverage ratio of 2 or higher. What that simply means to you and to your lender is that not only can I make your payment that I'm telling you I'm going to make, but I can make it so well that I can be half, 50% vacant during the year and still make your payment. How many of you think it makes lenders feel comfortable to hear that? Yes. That's the story we're trying to create and tell. Now, here's the fun part. This is my least profitable building of the 5 I've done in the last 10 months.